Alright, this video has a lot in it, so I decided to go with voice instead of the usual textual narration. I chose what to include in this by watching other players play their stealth characters and basing the points in here off of what I felt were some of the more common problems. Patiently observing. It doesn't take that long to find the movement patterns of your enemies. This is particularly important in tight spaces like this quest. What you want to look for is which wall they're closer to, the spots where things get a little wider, where it's safe to pass them, and how far they walk before turning around. I'm going to skip over the Mind Flayer fight here. There'll be time for that later. Here I have a door that I need to open, with two constantly watching and two more who come and go. So what I'm going to do is pull the attention of the first two away from the door and position myself to open the door so the other two don't see me either. And that way I avoid any fighting whatsoever. Just go through the door and go on my way. You may have noticed by now, I like to open doors while standing off to the side. Stealth build or not, there's no point in announcing yourself to everybody in the room before you've had a chance to get a good look at them all first. Getting creative with the enlarge metamagic feat here. It doesn't always work though. When the Ogre Mage does save versus Finger of Death, it's important to stay focused. He and the other ogres will rush you. Just run backwards and keep trying to kill him. And then after he does fail his save, you just re-stealth or go to a safe spot to lose his friends and get on with the quest. With this boss, just like the last one, it's simply a matter of finding the right position from which to strike to avoid drawing any unwanted attention to yourself. This situation here demonstrates the importance of getting a feel for monsters' visual arcs. Instinctively, I'd think that this guy would have seen me when I opened the door, but experience told me I was safely outside of his visual arc. Knowing your enemy, what details about Mind Flayers made this fight easier for me? I know they have a higher listen skill than wild men, meaning when I'm not even trying to sneak they can hear me at a greater distance. I know what spells to use to protect myself from his attacks, and I know what offensive spells work well against him. Knowing that meant not being attacked by the wild men, not getting mind blasted, and overall easily defeating him. I'm often told by other players that all red named bosses are able to see through invisibility. If that's something you thought, now you know better. Back on the topic of visual arcs, beholders have a 360-degree visual arc. There is no safe direction to unstealth near them. A problem I often see other players have while trying to be sneaky is panicking after they've made a mistake, like my bumping into that wildman right there. Instead of panicking and doing something that could have revealed my presence to the rest of them, I found an out-of-the-way spot to hypnotize him before continuing on my way. It's important to keep that focus and perspective of what's going on around you and prevent making things even worse for yourself if you've made a mistake. Hit and run. The ogres in the pit can't follow me back up. Even though he was hypnotized, the one up top could see me though. Contrary to popular belief, you can re-stealth. The key is invisibility. It considers you always hiding. The ogre up top won't be able to follow me at all, although he will search once that hypno breaks. It'll just be a small localized search around the area where I began sneaking after being invisible. The wild man, whom I bumped into earlier, though, will follow, and that's because I bumped into him. But he'll follow in a very broken and slow manner. There's a few glitches with the stealth mechanics in this game, and that's why he's still kind of able to follow. Here's an example of staying focused on your objective. The Ogre Mage made a save versus my insta-kill spell and alerted the others that he was under attack. I immediately went to a quick and simple crowd control, Hypnotize. Finished him off with a second cast of Finger of Death, and just turned invisible and got out of there quickly. And for this last Mind Flayer, I didn't have to do anything to isolate him from his 4 ogre bodyguards. I just had to wait for him to do it himself. Then strike, then back to the shadows and go get my loot. And there you have it, some more tips for playing your Shadow Mages. Happy hunting, Stormreach.